Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream sheets and the Percal bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream queen size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Percal queen size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to MyPillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. MyPillow.com, promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. The controversy surrounding a viral video of Democrat lawmakers urging U.S. service members to refuse illegal orders deepened this week as Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona came under Pentagon investigation, and the FBI contacted the U.S. Capitol Police to begin scheduling interviews with the 6 members of Congress who appeared in the clip as well. This could get quite interesting. Licensed gun owners in Hawaii could face criminal charges for carrying firearms at gas stations, restaurants, and grocery stores under a law that the Justice Department calls blatantly unconstitutional, setting up a Supreme Court showdown that could affect millions of law-abiding residents of blue states. And after a 4-decade-long break, the Communist Party USA, CPUSA, not to be confused with TPUSA, is trying to pick up where they left off before Ronald Reagan ran them out of business. They're running for public office. And folks, they're already having some success. President Donald Trump hosted the annual turkey pardon at the White House yesterday, joking that he was also repardoning last year's birds that only got an auto pen reprieve from Joe Biden, saying he considered naming this year's gobblers Chuck and Nancy.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
So could a U.S. Senator, a sitting U.S. Senator that is, a former Navy pilot and astronaut, actually be court-martialed by the Pentagon? That's the question of the day after Senator Mark Kelly became the focus of a Defense Department investigation, all because of a viral video where 6 Democrats told U.S. service members to refuse illegal orders. It's the kind of story that sounds almost too wild to be true, but it's very real. And it's testing the line between patriotism, politics, and military law. So this is the story. It's got everything. It's the story that started the week and keeps on giving. Politics, the military, a viral video that's now sparked a federal investigation. 6 Democrat lawmakers, all with military or intelligence backgrounds, appeared in a video telling U.S. service members to refuse illegal orders.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So on the surface, it sounds patriotic. Obey the Constitution, not tyranny, right? But it's not quite that simple. Because now one of them, Senator Mark Kelly, a former Navy pilot, is under Pentagon investigation. And the FBI has reached out to the U.S. Capitol Police as well. So the question is, was this video just political posturing, or did it actually cross a legal line? So let's back up here. The group includes Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan. She's a former CIA officer, and Senator Mark Kelly, a retired Navy captain and astronaut. They were joined by House Democrats Jason Crow, Maggie Goodlander, Chrissy Houlihan, and Chris DeLuzia, all veterans or intelligence community alumni. The 1-minute clip was titled, "Don't Give Up the Ship." And in it, they say directly to troops and intel officers, our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders. You must refuse illegal orders. Now, they didn't say which orders. They didn't name the president. But the timing and tone made it obvious this was aimed squarely at President Donald Trump. The message quickly went viral. Millions of views online. Conservatives blasted it as reckless and dangerous, while the left called it a constitutional reminder. But here's the problem. In the military, there's almost no room for interpretation when it comes to following orders. And this is what I said immediately upon seeing this video the other day. Under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you're required to obey lawful commands. Refusing an order can land you in prison unless the order is manifestly unlawful. And that's a very, very high bar. We're talking about obvious war crimes like killing civilians or torturing prisoners, not disagreements over policy or presidential decisions. So when lawmakers, especially former officers, tell the troops to refuse illegal orders, they're treading into very dangerous territory because they're implying that soldiers, sailors, Marines should personally decide what they believe is legal. And folks, that's not how our system works. Civilian control of the military is one of the bedrock principles of American government. We don't want privates and lieutenants trying to interpret international law in the middle of a mission. That's how you end up with chaos. That's exactly what some military lawyers are warning about. Rachel Van Landingham, a retired Air Force JAG, told Fox that the video is careless and dangerous. She said, and this is a quote, "Service members are under no legal obligation to follow unlawful orders, but the universe of orders that are so clearly illegal that anyone would recognize them is very small. The military depends on obedience," she said, and she's right. The law only protects you if the order is obviously illegal. Otherwise, if you disobey, you're risking your career, your pay, and even prison time. It's a catch-22. Refuse an order, you could be court-martialed. Follow it, and if it turns out to be wrong, you could be prosecuted later. That's why the responsibility is supposed to stay at the top with policymakers, not the privates. Now, here's where the legal trouble comes in. The Department of War, the new Trump-era name for the Pentagon, said that it had received serious allegations of misconduct against Senator Kelly. Because under federal law, retired officers can be recalled to active duty to face military justice for things they do even after leaving service. That means the Navy could technically recall Senator Kelly for a court-martial if they decide his comments violated the Uniform Code of Military Justice. The statute at play includes 10 U.S.C. Section 688, which gives the military that recall authority, and under Section U.S. Code 2387, which makes it a crime to interfere with the loyalty or discipline of the armed forces. Now, this is serious stuff. Now, whether or not the military will go through with this is yet to be seen. What would actually happen? Probably not going to happen, but what would? I mean, if you think about it. The Pentagon isn't brushing this off. Their statement said the review will be handled in compliance with military law, ensuring due process and impartiality. I mean, they almost have to, don't they? Because if they don't take this seriously, even though you're talking about members of the U.S. Congress, what happens when other people do the same thing? What happens when some soldiers do the same thing? You've got to apply the law uniformly and consistently. Now, if they found cause, Senator Kelly could lose part of his retirement pay, his TRICARE health coverage, or even be charged under the UMCJ Article 88 contempt of ward officials, failure to obey orders, or Article 134 conduct unbecoming of an officer. And if you think that sounds like overkill, remember, he's not just a retired officer. He's a sitting U.S. senator who told the troops to potentially defy a sitting commander-in-chief. That's not something the Pentagon ignores, thank goodness. The other lawmakers in the video, most of them are no longer under military jurisdiction since they were discharged, not retired. So they can't face court-martial, but they can face civilian charges under the same federal statute or even ethics investigations in Congress. That's because the FBI and Justice Department have reached out to the Capitol Hill and they're going to investigate. Look, folks, we have to take this seriously because, again, if we don't now, this could happen in the future. And this could create chaos within our military. Joey Hudson here, and this is it. PhD Weight Loss is running their best deal ever for Black Friday, and it's happening right now. They're waiving your consultation fee, adding 2 free weeks to your program, and even covering the cost of your food. Just mention the promo code BEST DEAL when you call, and you'll get a discount I can't even say on the air. Every year, the holidays hit, the pounds creep on, and by January, we're all back at the gym. But what if you could finish the year already feeling lighter, stronger, and more confident? That's what happens with PhD Weight Loss. Their metabolic reset system teaches your body to burn fat first, naturally and sustainable. I lost over 30 pounds with PhD, and it changed everything. My coach helped me through travel, holidays, parties. I actually enjoyed the season and lost weight. So don't wait. For Black Friday only, they're offering their best deal ever. Consultation free waived. 2 free weeks. Their 5 steps to reset the scale book, and your food is absolutely covered. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900. Mention Best Deal or visit online at myphdweightloss.com. This next story is a reminder that when it comes to constitutional rights, some states are determined to pick a fight with the Supreme Court. And with everyday law-abiding Americans who simply just want to protect themselves, they want to lump them into that as well. So here's the headline, and I'm reading from the newspaper in Honolulu. Licensed gun owners in Hawaii could soon face criminal charges for carrying a legal firearm into a gas station, a restaurant, a grocery store, you name it. And the Justice Department, the Trump Justice Department, is stepping in with some very strong words. So here's the story. Attorney General Pam Bondi did not mince words. She said Hawaii's law is blatantly unconstitutional. Her exact quote, "The Second Amendment is not a second-class right." And she's right. Because Hawaii didn't just tighten concealed carry laws. They basically criminalize those laws. Here's what Hawaii's law does. It makes it a misdemeanor that's a criminal defense to carry your legal firearm on any private property open to the public, unless you get unambiguous written or verbal authorization to do so, or there's very obvious signage saying that you're welcome to carry. So imagine pulling into a gas station. It's night. You have your family with you. And suddenly you, the licensed, background check, trained concealed carry holder, are now breaking the law. Unless the owner has a giant guns allowed sign out front. I mean, this is how crazy this is. This is how upside down things have become when it comes to guns in blue states. Law-abiding folks are treated like criminals, while the real criminals, the ones who may be there to rob that gas station, do it and get away with it. Now, here's the key part. This is happening after the Supreme Court's big Bruin decision in 2022, the decision that said states like New York cannot force people to prove a special need to carry a firearm for self-defense. The Supreme Court was very clear. The right to bear arms is not something the government can ration out like a permission slip. But instead of respecting that ruling, states like Hawaii, California, New Jersey, Maryland, New York took the Bruin decision and basically said, fine, we'll issue carry permits. We'll solve this. But then we'll ban you from carrying virtually anywhere. And that's exactly what Hawaii has done. The DOJ brief spells it out. Hawaii's law effectively nullifies concealed carry by banning public carry through indirect means. That's a direct quote from the DOJ. But here's where it gets big, and very big. The case, it's Walford versus Lopez, is now heading straight to the U.S. Supreme Court. And whatever the court decides won't just affect the Hawaiian Islands. A ruling against Hawaii could, in fact, overturn similar laws, again, in California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, those states that have tried to play around with the Second Amendment. Millions of gun owners instantly could see their rights restored in those states. That's why you're seeing the DOJ stepping in so aggressively. They want the Supreme Court to take this case because they feel like it's winnable. David Katz, former federal agent, firearms instructor, said something interesting in the Fox interview. He's worked in New York's post-Bruin system where the state has been trying to rebuild gun restrictions one regulation at a time. He said, when anti-Second Amendment states can block the permits anymore, they just ban the places that you can carry. Exactly. I mean, instead of saying no guns, what they're saying is, well, you can have a gun. You just can't take it anywhere. Can't take it outside of your home unless the owner of the property gives you specific permission. We all know that's not going to happen. It's the political version of grounding your kid. Sure, you can go outside, just don't leave the porch. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Look at New York City and Councilwoman Anna Vernikoff, the conservative Jewish councilwoman who showed up armed at a pro-Israel rally last year because anti-Semitic attacks were exploding across the city. She had a permit. She wasn't waving the gun around. It wasn't even loaded. She had taken parts out to make it inoperable. But she was charged anyway. You remember this story? All because New York has created such a tangled web of rules that even responsible trained gun owners cannot navigate it. They have made the rules such that they know no one can carry a gun, and that's their way, or at least they think that's their way, around the Second Amendment. It's a clear message. They don't want you armed, and they'll use technicality anytime they can to keep you from being armed. And this is where everyday Americans, especially in those blue states, are just simply getting fed up. When violent crime is going up, when prosecutors are turning criminals back out on the street, when police are understaffed and in a lot of cases just overwhelmed, the last thing that people want is the government trying to criminalize their self-defense. A government that, again, as someone put it earlier, treats your rights like they're privileges. Pam Bondi said it perfectly. The Second Amendment, again, is not a second-class right. So what happens next? The Supreme Court now gets a chance to deliver another major gun rights ruling, one that could reshape the entire landscape for concealed carry across the United States. And I'll tell you this, the court's conservative majority, they've made it very clear in the past. They're done with states trying to outsmart the Constitution, and that's what some of these states are trying to do. They think they're the smartest guy in the room, and they're trying to ignore the Constitution. It's plain and simple. If Hawaii loses this case, and right now that seems to be the direction that the wind's blowing, then millions of gun owners in California, New York, Maryland, New Jersey, again, all those states, will finally have their rights restored. And blue state politicians will just simply have to accept the fact that the Constitution has said this since 1791, that you have a right to bear arms. The right to keep and bear arms cannot be infringed upon, not licensed. It can't be rationed out based on some politician's desires. It cannot be hidden behind a no guns allowed sign that any property owner can put up. It's real clear. And our forefathers wanted us to be able to defend ourselves, and that's why we have the Second Amendment. On the text line, Faye writes, I hope Mark Kelly is court-martialed. The Dems are determined to totally tank our country. What an embarrassment these folks are pure evil. Well, Faye, you may get your wish, because I do think that Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice are taking this seriously, and the military, the Pentagon. On the MyPillow message line, trucker Donnie from Malden has this to say.
Hey, Joey, this is trucker Donnie out of Malden, South Carolina, and I just want to call in and say you're doing a good job, and I want to throw my 2 cents in on everything you're talking about this morning with all of the liberal Democrat criminals that are getting off the hook by these, I think, myself, paid off liberal judges, because I don't understand it. They're supposed to be for justice. That's what they were put into office for, but unfortunately, they've got some other concept of doing things other than what they're supposed to, and hopefully we can get down to the nitty-gritty and figure out who it is, why they're doing it, and whether they're getting paid off. Who knows? You know, I know what I'm saying. Some of the things are hypothetical, but it does make sense. I mean, either you don't see it because you're blind, you are not listening because you're dead, or you don't understand it because you're stupid.
Hey, Donnie, I'm going to take stupid for 1,000. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate your message. Your messages are always welcome on the MyPillow message line. Just call 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Leave a quick message, and just know that I might share it with you on the show. And always use promo code Joey when you go to MyPillow.com. And listen, folks, this is the time to start your Christmas shopping. And Mike Lindell has some great bargains for you. And he has some great early Black Friday bargains for you. Listen to this. When you go to MyPillow.com, you can call as well, 800-893-4059. When you use promo code Joey, you can get some of the original My Slippers that are normally anywhere from $59.98 to $149.98 for $39.98 when you use promo code Joey. He's having a blowout sale on the standard My Pillows, only $14.98 with promo code Joey. And blankets, comforters, duvets, early Black Friday special as low as $25 when you go to MyPillow.com and use promo code Joey. While you're there, check out all the other great things, the mattress toppers, the MyPillow mattresses, just a whole list of things. Just go to MyPillow.com. The 6-piece My Towel sets still available for $39.98, normally $69.98 with promo code Joey. The Giza Dream Sheets save over 50%. They're only $29.98 when you use promo code Joey, and they typically can run anywhere from up to $109.98. So, boy, this is the best time to start shopping at MyPillow for all those great gifts, Christmas gifts, because, look, folks, everybody loves to get a Christmas present, get a box, a gift with the MyPillow name on it. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code Joey. Well, folks, it wouldn't be Thanksgiving in America without a presidential turkey pardon. And this year's edition, peak Trump, pure entertainment. The White House lawn turned into a comedy roast, pun intended, a campaign rally, a poultry protection ceremony, all rolled into one. So here's what happened. President Trump, back in full form, welcomed Gobble and Waddle, this year's 2 lucky turkeys, for their big moment. But before waving the magic clemency wand, he couldn't resist throwing some haymakers at the usual suspects. Joe Biden, of course. He joked that last year's turkeys, they were Peach and Blossom, were only auto-pen pardoned under President Biden. And in Trump's book, that means totally invalid. In fact, he claimed that those birds were en route to a processing plant before he personally intervened to save them. Only Trump could turn a turkey pardon into a veto of Joe Biden's penmanship. Here's an exchange.
This was a big day. It's a pardon day for a very important beast. On behalf of the First Lady and the entire Trump family, I want to wish all Americans a very, very happy Thanksgiving. It's a great time of the year, and Our country is doing really well, economically, like we've never done before. Today, we continue a time-honored American tradition. Well, that's a well-trained turkey. See how happy he is? In a few moments, I will grant a full, absolute, and unconditional presidential pardon to two handsome Thanksgiving turkeys, and this is their lucky day. This is a lucky day for them. But before going any further, I want to make an important announcement, because you remember last year, after a thorough and very rigorous investigation by Pam Bondi and all of the people at Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the White House Counsel's Office, and the Department of Everything. We have a Department of Everything. You know what that is? I think that's called the White House. Into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid, as are the pardons of about every other person that was pardoned other than, where's Hunter? No, Hunter's was good. That was the one pardon, Pam, that was good, right? The rest of them are all invalid. I don't know what the hell you're going to do about that, but now we're going to take a little of the joking. That is a mess. But they're hereby null and void. The turkeys known as Peach and Blossom last year have been located, and they were on their way to be processed, in other words, to be killed. But I have stopped that journey, and I am officially pardoning them, and they will not be served for Thanksgiving dinner. We saved them in the nick of time. This one has plenty of time, but they were saved in the nick of time.
Is that not classic Donald Trump? Just having a great time, but at the same time throwing a few zingers at his nemesis, Joe Biden. The real zinger, he said he almost named this year's birds Chuck and Nancy, as in Schumer and Pelosi, of course, but he backed off, he said, when he remembered, I wouldn't pardon those people under any circumstances, not even if Melania begged, and the crowd just loved it. Now, Gobble and Waddle join an elite group of pardoned birds, and well, a few thousand human ones as well, because we have to remember that President Trump has racked up a number of pardons this year, primarily the January 6th defendants. Some political allies, Rudy Giuliani, George Santos, made the list, feathers and felons. And just when he thought he was done, Trump took aim at Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, called him a fat slob, and said he was too angry to read the scripted joke about him after hearing about yet another violent incident in Chicago, and he's right there. In true form, he ad-libbed saying, I don't talk about people's weight, as he proceeded to do exactly that. He said, I'd like to lose a few pounds too, and I'm not doing it on Thanksgiving. Vice President J.D. Vance, his daughter, and even Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's Dodler all made the appearances at the event. Petting the turkey and posing for pictures, one of those White House traditions that still manages to bring in a little holiday charm, even with the political spice that the president kind of sprinkled over it. The president and First Lady Melania are heading to Mar-a-Lago for the holiday, and after that performance, you can bet he's taking up some stuffing, cranberry sauce, and a fresh round of headlines with him. All right, let's turn to a troubling and deeply emotional situation out of Southwest Virginia, a story that has an entire community on edge and a family desperate for answers. Travis Turner, the head football coach at Union High School, and I talked with you about him yesterday. I told you that he had disappeared. He's a very well-liked, popular coach. He has his team has an undefeated season. They're going into the playoffs. Right now, they don't have a coach because he's missing. This is a guy who was leading his team through this undefeated season and just vanished last Thursday. And he disappeared right as investigators were preparing to question him, according to authorities, about some extremely serious allegations involving child pornography and soliciting a minor online. Now, here's where things get a little tense. His wife, Leslie, is absolutely rejecting every bit of those accusations. When reporters reached out, she was shaken, emotional, insistent, saying none of that is true. He's a good dad and a good husband. That's her message. She says the family's devastated, confused, and simply wants him returned home safely. Police say they went to Turner's Appalachia home last Thursday to question him, only to learn that he wasn't there and has not been back since. That set off a search effort, and as of today, they have not turned up anything on this missing coach. Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. All right, this next story, folks, you may have to take a deep breath here because this is not something that I made up. It's not satire. It's not a Cold War throwback. It's not a Netflix documentary. It's true. It's happening right now in the United States. We've all been concerned about the New York City electing a socialist. Some say he's a communist. But if you start digging a little deeper, the Communist Party in the U.S. seems to be growing again. Legally, technically, it's called the Communist Party USA, CPUSA. And again, I don't want you to confuse that with TPUSA. The same hammer and sickle crew founded after the Russian Revolution, the party that literally praised Russian leaders, defended the Soviet system for decades, has officially returned to American electoral politics, and we need to be concerned about this. They're not just running, they're actually winning some races. They won some races just a few weeks ago. 3 open Communist Party candidates won local races in Maine, Massachusetts, and upstate New York. And that number may sound small, but let's be honest. This party has been around for 106 years and only had 3 candidates ever win before this election. Ever. So this isn't a blip. I'm afraid this is a strategy. And the far left just notched the biggest Communist Party victory in American history. So how did we get here? Let's start with the party's own words. CPUSA co-chair Joe Sims, longtime Soviet sympathizer, went on The Daily Show, of all places, to explain the new plan. Here's what he said. Capitalism needs to be replaced fundamentally. The Democrat Party cannot be reformed. We are revolutionaries, not reformers. Now, this isn't Bernie Sanders talk. This isn't even AOC talk. This is straight down the barrel Marxist-Leninism. These folks are telling you exactly what they believe. They want one-party rule. They want government ownership of industry. They want to tear down the entire economic system that has built this country, our very foundation. And they're not hiding it. They're proud of it. So let's look at who actually won. Okay, let's go to Bangor, Maine. Daniel Carson. Carson won a city council seat. And get this, he was sworn in next to a convicted murderer. Both of them backed by the same far-left nonprofit. Local media barely covered it. Most voters had no idea he was a Communist Party member. And why? Because those elections are nonpartisan. You're not identified on the ballot by your party. No party label. It's the perfect camouflage. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Luisa de Paula Santos. She won a school board seat, and she was openly identified in CPUSA literature as a party member. School board, Communist Party, in one of the most influential academic regions in America. Of course, one of the most liberal regions in America, too, that northeast corner in Massachusetts. Let's move over to Ithaca, New York. Hannah Chauvetz, age 20. She ran on reparations, sanctuary city expansion, easing sobriety requirements in shelters, densifying housing, and yes, she's a registered Communist Party member, according to the New York Post. Ithaca is a college town, and when you combine TikTok socialism with low turnout off-year elections, well, this is what you get, folks. So why is this happening? Texas Tech economist Benjamin Powell said something that's kind of interesting. Most young people don't know what socialism actually means, and he's right. I think New York City has a rude awakening coming. Ask a college sophomore what socialism is, and you'll hear about free health care, free housing, ending oppression, fairness. And an actual Marxist, Leninist, they'll tell you it means abolishing private property and putting the government in control of all major industries. Kind of like Mom Donnie wants to do with the grocery stores in New York City. Two totally different worlds. But here's the part that should really get your attention. The Communist Party USA planned this. Back in 2021, they quietly announced a new strategy. Nobody was paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. They target small races. They target nonpartisan ballots so they don't have to be identified. They target these college towns, get all these young people in there, target low turnout communities, which could be about anywhere these days, and they build from the ground up. And this is where they're starting. That's exactly what they've done. They said, we really can't be a political party if we don't run candidates. Listen, communists are many things, but they're not dumb. They're pretty disciplined. They're patient. And they love long-term strategy. Ask Beijing, Moscow, Havana. One of the most well-known modern communists, Stephen Estrada, an Army veteran who ran openly as a CPUSA candidate in California, he says he's left the party now. Why? Because he said the Communist Party is becoming too friendly with Democrats. You heard that right. He says that they're too friendly with Democrats. They're not radical enough. But Estrada went further. He said something that really surprised me. He said, I believe MAGA represents the true underlying political will of the working class. Communists should learn from Donald Trump. This is a communist, a Marxist-Leninist, saying the most authentic working class movement in America right now is MAGA. And he's right, isn't he? Honestly, whether you agree with him or not, that tells you just how scrambled American politics has become. When the far left and the far left of left are rethinking their strategy, when they're reshuffling their alliances, when they're trying to grow quietly at the local level, no fanfare, just quietly going about recruiting their candidates, putting them on the ballot, and winning some elections, you better believe something bigger is in the works. So what does this mean for you and me, everyday Americans? It means vigilance. It means we got to pay attention, media literacy. It means turnout matters, especially in small local elections. We got to get involved, and we can't just throw our hands up and say, "Well, I'm giving up. I'm checking out." It means paying attention to school board ballots, city council races, judicial seats, county council seats. And I've said this for years. I've said this all along. Back when I was really involved in party politics and was actually a county party chairman, we went after those school board races. We went after those city council races because nobody was paying attention. But now the radical left, this is what they're doing now. They're not starting with Congress. They're starting with the smaller races. Even the zoning councils and education committees, exactly where ideology becomes policy when nobody's really watching. Now, this isn't fear-mongering, folks. It's not McCarthyism. These candidates are open. They support China. They admire Mao. They believe the Soviet Union was a grand experiment. And they're ready to have an experiment here in the U.S. of A. That's it for today's show. Tara's up next, followed by Mike Gallagher, Bill Frady, Charlie James. Hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. Remember, folks, God's got this. He's still in control. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.